So we continue right here. Saturday Night Select, myself, Tom Short, Nick Christoforu in the building, and we're officially into hour 3, Nick.
This is it, hour 3.
It has gone so fast tonight. It really has.
You know what? I won't lie. I mean, my hour there was a bit
Hectic.
But I had my show planned out, and I was like, "Yep, I'm up for this," as I always am.
Yep.
And I think you went on a different journey from what you'd normally go on.
I did.
Which really thought, oh, Tom's on it. It made me want to redo my playlist.
Oh.
But I plugged my USB in, and half the songs weren't there. I went, oh
dear.
All my show prep was out the window. So if that did sound a bit erratic, I do apologise.
But
we got through it in the end.
We got through it in the end. That's the main thing.
All about hour 3.
Hour 3. Now, usually we do a back-to-back. We just go at it, kind of throw the kind of tunes in that I did in hour 1 today.
Battle style.
We kind of go at it 3 for 3. We didn't do that last week, did we, Nick?
We didn't know. We're trying out we've got a new segment in place on Saturdays.
As it stands, yeah.
As we're leading up to Select's 23rd birthday at Ministry of Sound on the 10th of January.
Oh,
we are inviting in Select heads to talk about their musical journey.
None other than Curtis J last week, your very own Friday night selector.
He is indeed. He's up before Kev.
He is.
Yeah.
We should have sent him a message.
We should have sent him a message.
Oh, we've missed an opportunity there. But this week we have none other than Sundays.
Woo!
Meera, welcome to the studio.
How you doing?
Thank you. It's really fun to be here on a night time. I think I've just about, as it's getting darker now, as we know, getting up to the shortest day, it's starting to get dark when I finish my show on a Sunday, but I've not arrived in the dark yet. So it's exciting.
Them late summer months kind of throw me when it's like bright sunshine when we get here and we finish and it's dark. We're like, how long was I in there?
Yeah. No, but although when I was doing 5 till
7.
5 till 7 was that? No, I wasn't doing 5 till 7.
3 till 5.
3 till 5.
How time flies.
When I was doing that, winter used to be my favourite time because I just had that more of that nighttime feeling to it.
Do you know what? I like this time of year. People complain about the daylight, but I feel like you get bonus time because, like you said, when it's not dark yet and it gets dark at late, you're like, oh, the day's like, Whereas when it gets dark at 4, you're like, I've got hours before bedtime.
I'll be honest, I'm more of a Grinch on the other side of Christmas. I am just someone that cannot stand January, February, or March, unfortunately.
It's my birthday in February.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah.
See,
I'll give you a high five on that one. There we go.
Well, that's the only reason I don't like it, because I don't want to buy him a present.
What day?
You got to get 2 presents now, Tom.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
When is it?
February 12th.
Okay.
What year?
Almost.
I'm joking. Don't answer
83. I'm proud. Go on.
86. I'm 40 in February.
Yes. That's where the fun starts.
But as Tom says, you're
can't
only
wait to
30
make them look who's 40 pictures up on the wall. You know what I mean? So Meera, look, let's crack on. For anyone that is new to you, which many people won't be on the station, but if anyone is coming across it for the first time and yourself for the first time, how would you describe yourself? Tell us all about you.
Well, I guess, you said there may not be people that are new to me, but it's been a year. It's coming up to a year for me on Select. So this is actually landed.
Only been a year?
Only a year. But my relationship with Select, we'll go into that, goes, beyond. But yeah, I actually came to do a show with Miss Foster, who is my sort of Sunday tag team partner. She's on alternate weeks.
Yep.
And she invited me to come and do like a fun little Christmas, literally this time last year.
Oh, really?
In the other temporary little studio. And she was like, don't worry, we're going to be back soon.
All too well.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. And then I had my first show on my own in January. So yeah, it's been a year on Select and it's just been, it's been
a whirlwind.
It's been amazing. It just feels like everything's kind of come together. I just feel very at home and I love it.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we asked Curtis last week as it goes. Like, do you feel comfortable? And it's when you're interviewing, you want to make the guests feel comfortable, but you guys are a full part of the station. Do you know what I mean?
But when I've had guests on as well, they just, they love it. They love the studio and they love just being, and it's like a little cocoon. And even when you're here just on your own, it's like your own little happy place. And it's like, there's people listening, so you've got that community, but you're on your own, so it's kind of, don't know. It's a different experience to obviously club DJing, and I just love it. I love radio.
That's what we all do, right?
We've been on it we've done our own individual shows for a while. We've been doing the joint show for
No, we're 6
months?
Yeah, something like that. But again, like last week, Nick, don't start with the maths with me, please. Please. I'm barely remembering 23 years at the moment. Look, Meera, let's start with a question like this. Where did your DJ journey start? What pulled you in at first?
So it was probably when I first entered an actual club at slightly too early officially. I think I was 17.
Most of us.
Yeah, we've all been there. It's okay. Camden Palace, now Coco, and I was like, "What is?" It just sort of slapped me in the face, and then. That was it. I felt like my brain just got rewired, and I was like, the beats.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because I'm not sure when that then translated into me wanting to do it, because obviously back then, so this was 2001, it was a lot more of it was an actual dig. You had to find the vinyl. Internet was actually starting to be a thing. You could get records online. I used to use Juno, but it was more about like going into the record shops and stuff. And I was just at a mate's, and he had some decks, and he was like, "Oh look, this is how it works," and I was like, oh, "Okay." And then he said he had a mate who had some that he was trying to get rid of. There were some 1210s, which is amazing because that's like the gold standard. But so they were second hand, but he'd barely use them. I think he bought them and was like, "I don't want." Too hard. I don't want it. So I really lucked out.
Touch.
Do you know what? Actually, I didn't even think of this. This is crazy, right? So I live in North London. I was in North London at the time, living at my parents'. Only just passed my driving test, right? 18. I sort of left it a bit. I was like, yeah. And then, so the decks were in Crystal Palace, which is here. Mad, right? Bear in mind, I'd only really driven around my local area. Literally only just passed at the skin of my teeth. I don't know how. I wasn't a particularly confident driver. I kept that P plate on for years. Like, I literally, honestly, and I was like, grabbed a mate. I was like, we need to drive to Crystal Palace to get these decks. And she was like, get what? I was like, it doesn't matter. Let's go. We made it back somehow with the A to Z. I also have no sense of direction.
Yes.
It was just, so that was a nightmare.
Was it the full size A to Z, or was it with one of the little locals?
I used to carry one in my handbag.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I don't know how my children they have to tell me where I park the car half the time.
Oh, really?
I have such terrible.
See, on most sat navs now, you get the little feature, don't you? If you unplug it from CarPlay, you don't trust it.
I had to do a screenshot as well. I'm terrible. But I don't know how I survived. I really don't.
Brilliant.
So anyway, so the decks made it back, and I just kind of messed about with it. I got a book that told you what beat matching was, and it was literally And then I don't know. It was just then going off and. I could talk forever, but I went and lived in Manchester for university, and I just threw myself in, just playing parties.
Fantastic.
It would just all came, the clubbing and the DJing would just kind of came together, basically.
So you kind of said there that you was exposed to music when you was in a night in a club, and what drew you? What was the first song that really drew you into?
It's funny because I listened to your show last week, Curtis J, and he said Delirium, and that was actually one of the ones then, because it was all trance and hard house that I first started raving to. Also there were separate like jungle and techno things. We'll go into that, but in the big clubs it was like the trance and hard house. That was the big scene. Garage was a thing, but the scene, I wasn't into the actual club. The clubbing was a bit more like people dressed really nicely, and it was all like that, and I was like, I don't want to do that.
I was talking about this in the week, like the standard of how people used to go out and dress up and really it was
for garage, not for mine.
Over the years, Harry.
Oh, really? What? So like on the student vibe?
No, the student vibe. No, as in like you'd go. I like the dirtier the better, basically. As in like I didn't understand what dress codes were. I was like, if there's a dress code, that doesn't sound very fun. I want to be in my trainers. I want to rave. I was a proper raver. Still am a little when I can. But you know what I mean. I just want to dance. But I think the garage scene, is very interesting because it came from more underground roots. So I think they wanted to snazz it up, and I think it served its purpose. It's different now. It's evolved. But I didn't want to go clubbing to garage, even though I liked the music. I wanted to go clubbing to it was just more. It just felt more real. People were just in there, just getting stuck in.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I love that. That's what the culture's about. And do you know what the thing is though? The amazing thing about any kind of electronic dance music, no matter what spectrum it's on, is that it's all very personal to you and how you feel about it and how you see it. Do you know what I mean? How you interpretate it. And I mean, for me, student nights, like you just said, I don't think that's changed whatsoever. The way people dress for it and the whole vibe. Really, I don't know. Maybe you've got a different style.
I guess student like you've got like your student like your cheese I guess the student existence can be either like you just do the typical thing, you're into like your pop and your cheese and whatever. But then I just kind of it wasn't because I was in Manchester. I basically chose that uni for the clubbing. The study was kind of secondary.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about your time down in Manchester a bit later, but let's talk about the first track in your selection. Big track. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Humongous track. I just think Ali G as soon as I see this track. That's all I can think of. I'll be completely honest. But what a track. The track is none other than M-Beat General Levy. Incredible. Originally released in 1994.
That was the year I started secondary school, right? So I was literally like a kid. Like an actual, when I was sort of 6, 7, 8, it was like Michael Jackson, Madonna, like pop, Kylie, all that, loved all that. Then I was really into Take That, right? And then how we digested music then was Top of the Pops. You know, the radio shows. Later on, I started chasing the pirate signals around the house. I'd be in the car, my parents would be like, oh, look, I found this, you know. But before that, it was just like, Top of the Pops, like chart show. And you can only have it at certain times, or you just listen to the radio all day long. But it was all mainstream stuff, right? So when this M-Beat track, I was like, what is this? Like, it sounded crazy. It was like the underground coming to the overground. It was made like top 10. And like, you know, it just was really out there. But there were other tracks like it, like I could have chosen, you know, even things like 2 Unlimited and like, you know, Prodigy, all that stuff. Like that was like mainstream.
Chemical Brothers.
Chemical Brothers. Those things. Like
bit of a gateway.
Yeah. And then I got really into like rock and pops. I wasn't into beats till later, but those tracks I was still like, oh, they're cool. So that one, that started to get me thinking about these underground sounds, and it just really blew my mind.
Yeah. And the thing about this track in particular, it just resurfaces over and over again. It's one of them tracks that is always played in nightclubs still. Jungle raves, even a
wedding at the end of the wedding.
Everyone knows it.
Exactly.
And even if you don't like Jungle Drum, you like this one. I don't know anyone who doesn't like this track.
It's the insomnia of Jungle.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just a track that can be played across the board. So let's get into it, Meera. Introduce it to everyone one more time. Not that they need it, just introduce it.
This is Incredible by M-Beat featuring General Levy.
Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, jungle is massive. Wicked, original. Well, big up. All the original jungle is massive. The original dancehall jungle is there. General Levy alongside the M-Beat. The world is in trouble. I will tell a murderer. It goes. I am the incredible general. Sensational with the coming. Incredible general. Yo, mad the whole of them. I spin them like a windmill. You talk for them, go to them and we got the skill. Dance can nice and let's spend name on the bill. And the girls see you with vices like them dreams can't fulfill. Pass on with them with a pass on with them with a cold life with them with a chill. I go winner, cypher winner, over the hill. Who the one come to see Jack, who the must say sick, who the must say ill. Just think that the M-Beat to the best and go right your will. Come now. Have mercy. Have mercy. Have mercy. Have mercy. So booyaka, booyaka, when the general a pass. Booyaka, booyaka, M-Beat run the dance. Booyaka, booyaka, we no take part, no talk. Booyaka, booyaka. Incredible. Mr. Levy on the mic, the gentleman fit the general. Keep a back in my style. Wicked, original. Me no rap, me no skin. Me no partial. Me no rap fist and DJ to them funeral. General Levy, me no back. All what come dance and me all for the murder that. To the pinnacle. If you look at DJ chat, then say it go. PSL, come and get them. Critical, come now. Jungle is massive. Hear this. So what? Icky. Them beach a come from Martin. Icky. General you come from Martin. Yo, but the whole of them must spin them like a windmill. You talk for them, go to them and we got the skill. Dance can nice and let's spend them on the bill. And the girls see you with vices like them dreams can't fulfill. Pass on them in the pass and
as Nick said, what an incredible tune.
What an incredible
Absolutely incredible tune.
Such a feel-good tune.
And it just brings back so many memories for me.
Yeah.
Like, it really
Not
does.
just Ali G.
No, but mainly Ali G.
But mainly Ali G, yeah.
I remember it at school
Respect
discos, literally like mad little school discos like at
Yeah.
age 12, 13, and then it would come when everyone just goes crazy.
They still do, though. That's the
Still do.
thing. They really do. Right, let's go from the 90s,
Yeah.
Meera, and let's jump straight into the 2000s. That's where we're going next.
Yes.
You started to talk about your first clubbing experiences and stuff like that. You was also talking about in the 90s to the 2000s.
Yeah.
What kind of changed in that time that time frame from the 90s to the 2000s and continued your track onto, let's say, your next choice?
Yeah, so obviously I spent a good, those first years of like discovering, proper dance music. And so the next track is Azido DeBass, Timo Maas remix. It's just one of those ones, because at the time there was a lot of euphoria. So like with silence, it was all like hands in the air, but then also like hard, just hard stuff. So this one, it's just got like, it's just bassy and like that sound is just iconic, right? I've heard so many recent remixes of it,
100%.
and it just lands. And the fact that it's quite special because this would land in a garage set because it's got those kind of broken beats.
Yeah.
And then, but it seemed to work in like a sort of hard housey, trancey night. So but this was just popping off.
Well, it's well driven. This track.
Yeah.
This is one of the tracks that definitely inspires a lot of bass-driven music today,
Yeah.
even through to tech house and the more fluffy stuff. The driven sound. It really has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
So you was talking a little bit more about Camden Palace. You even mentioned to us off the mic about Bagley's, Turnmills and places like that. Let's continue to paint a picture, especially with this track. What it meant to you when you heard this track out.
It was just, it was obviously, people talk about the phones in the clubs and whatever, but like now, and they really want to bring it back to a time, but obviously there weren't any, so there was no problem.
Yeah.
And everyone was just in it, So just every track you'd get this like unified response, It was really quite something. It was quite full on.
What? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's,
With this track, what was this the track that, was this the point that you really stopped thinking like a clubber and started thinking of things as a bit more of a DJ and a bit more of a music head, let's say?
Well, funnily enough, I think the reason I picked this one is because I was, when you said to me like think of 5, I was like 5. I've literally, it's been 25 years or more than that of listening to music. But yeah, so I thought what this one feeds into sort of now, and something like this just makes me think of it. Yeah, just the fact that it works in sets so well now.
Yeah.
It's just so, and it's quite stripped back. It's quite simple, and there's bits where it kind of like just goes to nothing, and then it just comes back again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So like, the thing I love about this tune is that you will always kind of hear it on a garage compilation.
Yeah.
No matter
My first thought when I is EZ.
Yeah.
That's my automatic first. EZ at Hollywood's in Romford.
Do you know?
They take me back there. EZ used to be Christmas Eve at Hollywood's all the time. It was like,
iconic.
That's when I was like first going.
I almost went for like double 99 Rip Groove, or I was going to do another garage, like a chart garage tune from before, like 21 seconds.
Yeah.
But I just thought this one, it seems to sort of land in every sort of sphere. It's got like
this tune. I don't know if this will make sense what I'm about to say. It kind of goes under the radar, but it's like at the same time it's like a chart track.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He blew up actually.
When I saw it on your list, I was like, that's such a good tune. Like, but it's not one of them obvious ones like you're saying. You say to me, what's your favourite tune? I don't think this is on many people.
But everyone wants that noise, that sound.
Everyone knows it and everyone loves it.
So let's get into it. Introduce your second track for us, Meera, by the German artist.
Yeah, so this is Timo Maas's remix of Azido DeBass, Doom's Night.
Let's get into it. Oh, wow. Nick's been bobbing his head. You made a very good comparison there just a minute ago with Flat Beat. 100. You could see, there's just so much that it evolves off. That's what I love about music. So much
comes out of this track.
Yeah. And especially with the eras that we're playing at the moment, like we talk about nostalgia quite a lot on the show. Meera, we say that music doesn't really stand still anymore. It's very digestible. There's always something new coming out, and I enjoy playing fresh beats. But when you hear things like this, it's like that first hour.
Yeah.
It was like I was in front of a crowd earlier because nostalgia was just hitting me constantly. So that's the great thing about tracks like these, and they just do. Yeah, poor Nick. Let's keep the conversation moving, though. Up next, I really want to talk about... We spoke a lot about your rave days.
Yeah.
And I want to keep pushing on to,
going on.
Well, yeah, obviously, for all of us.
Yeah.
Especially on the 10th of January.
Yeah.
What was the first record that really made you think, I need decks? I need to learn how to DJ?
Well, it was... Yeah, I guess it wasn't like one particular one, but no. I feel like the next one, this feels more, because a lot of the trance and hard house that I raved to, it was very kind of like bosh,
heavy.
Some of it I don't think stands the test of time, but maybe it does, but the tracks that I've chosen today they're just timeless, you know, and this one, I felt like I'd evolved, even though it was very early on in my raving and DJ journey. I feel like this track is it's almost quite like mature. It's just quite evolved and involved as well. It's just it's quite deep.
I love how you said it's very it's mature. It is a very mature track. That's a perfect word for it.
Yeah, because he'll play a techno set.
Yeah,
but this has got like live instrumentation and all sorts of elements, you know, and it just makes it so deep and so, I just get lost in it.
Yes.
And it's also quite euphoric as well, I think. It's very uplifting.
So it's fair to say that you find this next track very emotional. You have a very emotional attachment to this track along a timeline of tracks along the same kind of era. You still play it regularly?
Oh, yes. And have we announced it yet? Have we said what it is?
No, we haven't yet. We haven't yet. You can. Go ahead. Let's announce
I guess it all makes sense when, So this is The Man with a Red Face by Laurent Garnier.
Yeah.
But we were just saying as well, the Mark Knight Funk Agenda remix also is great. And I play that one quite a lot. But this one, sometimes I wonder, when I'm playing a remix or something, and I sometimes wonder if the original will land, and this one actually really does. And I don't know, it just... I played this actually this time last year at probably my biggest gig to date, like at that point.
Yeah.
It was at the Cross. So the Cross, which is part of the original kind of clubbing, you know, you had Bagley's across the end, Turnmills in that kind of heyday of London clubbing. And then, you know, all of King's Cross kind of got, it was a bit of a dive, got kind of flattened and remade into something very nice, a nice pleasant day out, you know. Not like it was there where you just wouldn't set foot there apart from go straight to the club and then try and get home. Anyway,
still
yeah.
I drove past it this morning, I was like, wow.
What a great shot. They still play Dooms Night in there quite a lot.
So the Cross, I played it there. It's been it's in a new location, but it's kind of similar, you know, same owners, whatever. And it attracted a bit of the older crowd who used to go back in the day. So when I had that set there, I had all my mates there. It was kind of leading up to Christmas, and it was really quite emotional because they were all there. They were just like, just loving it for me. And I played it, and it just... the room, it just went off. Like, it was mad.
Yes, it's pretty. And you just hold on so dear to their moments.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. I could see you there. I could see you.
I get quite emotional and I'm just like, It's a bit
great,
much.
though.
Do you know what? There's some tracks, actually the last one that we're going to play on this show, sometimes I can't listen to it because it makes me feel too emotional.
Yeah.
But we'll get on to that.
Yeah. don't cry just yet. But we do love the emotion, honestly.
Our show cancelled.
So was this the first track that you bought?
Oh, yes. So I did say I was going to be organised and I was in a mad rush. You know, it was last Saturday before Christmas. My kids were here everywhere. Yeah, I was going to dig it out and find it because it was one of the first tracks I bought, and the sleeve is just red.
Yep.
With a little scribbly face on it, so it is quite iconic. Yeah. And you can spot it as well when the DJ's about to put it on. You can see it on the sleeve. This is one of the first ones I bought, and in a way, I'm quite proud that it is one that has stood the test of time because a few of my records actually, most of them are okay, but some, I'm like, not sure about that. You know what you find?
Nick plays quite a lot of them regularly.
Do you remember your first vinyl record, Tom?
I mean, probably Tears, Frankie Knuckles.
Oh, nice.
Was my first ever record. Before my time, obviously.
Yes.
But, what track? That'd be on my top 5.
Nice.
It really, that means a lot to me, that track.
Do you know, a lot of my records are actually, I got really into like breakbeat as well, which is kind of, it's nice that it's kind of coming back, you know, amongst like garage, and there's so many subgenres, but a lot of them were like, just very, breaks was a thing. And then I had my jungle. I've literally got like jungle, breaks, and then like house. And there was kind of like that French touch kind of sound. Then there was kind of like the German sound as well. I've got, you know, techno. Yeah, it's quite diverse. But yeah.
Yeah, so let's get in to your next track, which, as already mentioned, let's just reintroduce it. We're going to reintroduce all the tracks because it's so important.
So this one is Laurent Garnier and The Man with the Red Face.
Let's get into it right here. Saturday Night Select. Me and Nick love this track. Top fact, the reason this track was named The Man with the Red Face is that the studio session was so hard.
Great power.
He nearly blew a blood vessel in his head. So, I've lost the word that I wanted to use then. In remnants is a word. For this track, it was called The Man with the Red Face, after the sax player. So turn it up. We're going to continue talking to Meera just after this one. We're going to move back down to Manchester and them years. So stay tuned. We just want to keep listening to this tune, but we can't. We've got so much more to talk about. Saturday Night Select, myself, Tom Short, Nick Christoforou in the building. Sunday's very own Meera comes to talk all about 23 years of Select as we celebrate 20... Well, like I've already said, 23 years of Select. Don't need to repeat myself. We join Ministry of Sound on the 10th of January, so head over to selectradioapp.com for all your tickets. You can also get your tickets at ministryofsound.com as well, and we can't wait to get back there. We and Nick have been talking about the January parties so much lately as well because January they're just so good. They really are. But as we have Meera still in the building, you've really chose some iconic tracks there already. Yeah. We know. We've already discussed that you really can't, like, the list would be endless.
Yeah.
I mean, I know when I start...
obvious ones as well.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's a great choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the ones that people are like, oh, yeah, God, thanks for reminding me about that one. Yeah.
This next track, for many, many people in their heyday, is a humongous track. Humongous track. Before we even start talking about this next... stage, let's call it. Introduce track 4 for us.
Okay, so the next one is Strings of Life, and it's the
track.
Yeah, I mean, it's the remix. So the original is by absolute pioneer Derek May, but this one is a Soul Central Danny Krivit re-edit. Obviously, the original is. Yeah, it's
special.
I mean, the original's the original.
Yeah.
This remix gives me, I think it's very head candy vibe for me. You know, you'd always get. I'd always bust this out at head candy at Pasha or something like that back in the day for me.
I just found that because I guess it's weird because actually all the tracks I've chosen, apart from the first one, have sort of a techno sort of back. Yeah, so Derek May's like a techno sort of forefather, but then it's like that Detroit, you know, just iconic, pioneering. But this, obviously it's retained that you know, those iconic and really, you know, those strings, you know, everyone recognises them.
100%.
But then obviously it did get, even more Head Candy vibes was when, you know, the vocal got introduced onto the Soul Central track. But I prefer no vocal because you just kind of get more lost in it.
Yeah.
But this one, for me, it just landed then. It reminded me of like, you know, someone would just fling this on at a house party up when I was in Manchester, or you'd hear it, like in the club. And I've heard this at Pikes in Ibiza. It's just that kind of like, you know, that energy.
Yeah, and
you know?
do you know what? It's not necessarily a track that really brings energy within them. It is just a track that it brings euphoria with it for some, like, there is a reason for it. It's because it's a great track. I'm probably not explaining myself in the best sense.
I was saying, like, even live tracks, it's when it drops. I mean, obviously it's such an iconic drop on this track, but even the intro for this just makes you want, like, you can just listen to the intro.
Yeah.
It's just like such a...
So would you describe this as the perfect club track?
Well, this, I'd say, one of. This always works. In fact, I've been playing a lot of sort of Christmas sets this month, you know, and then it's...
I wonder why.
And it's not usually musically, it's not exactly where, you know, you sort of, you know, you're having to please the people. They're up for a laugh and they just want to hear the big tunes, right? And I wasn't expecting it at all. There was a bit of a quieter moment and I was like, you know what, I'll just play some things I like, but also will land. And I played this and someone came over and he was like, oh, yeah, Derek May. And I was like, oh, well, I did not expect there to be like a music head in here. And he started giving me a bit of an education of which, you know, I pretended not to know and just like, you know, nodded like, yeah, thanks. But no, but it just, you know, it works. And
it's normally us.
But I think those strings are just so uplifting. It's just happy. It's a happy tune.
You said this represents your time in Manchester, where you fully got into DJing.
Yeah, I mean,
why is that?
Yeah, I just heard it out a lot then. It was around that time. I think this was it around 2004. This one, I think, and of this version. Sankey's was a great club. I mean, it has sort of re-emerged. Yeah, I think it's come back in the original, maybe, but then it's also been in Ibiza and it's had something at 338. But the Sankey's that I knew, it was just the perfect size, and back then as well, you would just go to the night. You'd go because you knew tribal, what's it called? Tribal sessions. Yep. Every Friday was a good night. You knew in London that, I don't know, I used to go to Peach at Camden Palace because I knew it was good. It wasn't about, we're going to go here because this massive headline DJ's there. And I think that culture, you know, a lot of people are now, they're missing that. It's not about, people just go where the big names are now, whereas back then you would go because you trusted that night was going to be good. It was about the atmosphere, the venue, the people, and the DJs were good, but, you know, it wasn't just about big names.
It gave DJs the chance to grow on that stage.
Yeah.
We've spoken about this a lot on our show, haven't we?
And it has gone full circle. That is happening a lot. A lot of local parties with a lot of local DJs are re-emerging, and it's fantastic to see because I hope it actually injects a little bit more life into not high street clubbing because that can reappear at any time.
Yeah, but it's more about trusting that event, that brand, because you do still get, it's hard as, you know, I've done a fair bit of promoting as well, and it's like people are, you're trying to, you know, people, when they trust you, they trust the brand, but then sometimes people are like, well, who's on? I'm going to go see this big DJ playing at this massive club. It's like, well, why don't you want to have a nice vibe of a slightly smaller venue? And
that sense of community.
Yeah, but Sankey's kind of had it all because you would get big DJs there. Yeah. You would, but you also felt like it was a community.
Sankey's was a massive movement as well. Yeah. Like, you know, anyway, but like, as you said, but it had that nice community feel to it as well. You link this to Pikes, you've linked this to a lot of clubs you've used, so Manchester definitely holds a special place in your heart.
Yeah, Manchester and obviously Ibiza, you know, sort of space. Ibiza, that was a lot bigger, but Pikes now, it just retains that feeling of like, not too big, but it's like that real party energy and you're kind of united and it's about the music and about just letting go. So, yeah. Well,
on that bombshell, let's get straight into this track for one more time. Reintroduce it for us, Meera, and let's get into the music.
This is the Danny Crivet edit of Soul Central and Strings of Life.
One more timeless classic for you there. Haggard.
Never gets old.
It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old, and it's another one of them tracks that I think still would easily relate to the younger generation still.
Yeah.
As it did to me. I know that especially because I relate to this track as a very influential track growing up. So we've gone from Manchester.
Yeah.
You know, from uplifting to hypnosis next.
Yes.
You know,
it's kind of more, this could be peak time of the night, or maybe at the end as a big uplifting closer. But I think the next track's very much like 3, 4 a.m. maybe, or afters, or you're just really in the zone.
So,
the next one.
What's the track? Is the next track what sums up your love for the journey over the drop?
Right, yeah, because, we've talked about this, the longer tracks. I think people just want very quick, digestible bites, from music, because then it translates to socials. And I think, it's easy to forget about the kind of just getting lost in like a longer track and the whole journey thing. I think it's not, this is the thing, like you want to, like the craft and the art of DJing is like, people always say you play stuff people want to hear, but you play stuff they didn't know that they want to hear.
Yes.
But it's not just like wham, bang, bang, one after another. You can have your peaks. I love my big drops. I love my drama, but I like things to be soulful as well, or like a bit like, deep and, and you have your peaks and troughs and your curveballs and, because I also, my sets aren't, I'm not going all over the place like but I do, I like all kinds of house. I like tech house, deep house, disco, I like new disco, I like kind of like fast, I like faster house, but then I like my bass, I like my garage, I like so you can kind of weave around with that. That's what I like to do with my sets sometimes. Or when you sing like someone like Lauren Garnier or would play like all night, and all night long is like a real you don't get many of them, but I think it's a real skill to be able to do that.
100%. I do worry at times, going slightly off subject, on subject, that the craft of DJing, I don't think it's lost, but I think at times it loses its way in certain areas
I think
of
it's
it.
changed where it was, I've had this conversation with multiple people, whereas back in the day it was your selection that used to set you apart as a DJ to someone else. You'd have to spend the hours down the record shop going through all the listen, I like the sound of that one, and what are you going to spend your money on, and that's it. Nowadays, I mean, we're all in record pools, we get like record labels sending stuff,
to find things.
we've all got access to exactly the same music as everyone else, so then it's down to how creative you are as a DJ in how you put your set together, how you play your set.
There is no doubt it's changed for me that I've changed the record shop to the car. I will just go through endless amount of new music in the car, and I love sitting on the sofa and just listening to music. Don't get me wrong, I'll start off with the new stuff and I'll always end up going back to the stuff that I already know and listen to regularly.
That's the thing, because you might think, now DJs have to just be really creative with, I don't know, their transitions and stuff, but it's not about that. You've got an endless pool of music to choose from, so it's about what you choose. And then also, this is why I think radio is so magic, and DJs in general, these are tastemakers, these are people that people trust. You might think, right, I'm just going to listen to this mix, or I might go on SoundCloud and listen to, I don't know, somebody's uploaded this, or I know that this person's on at this time, because you just kind of, you want to know what they're loving, and it's and
everyone's got different taste, everyone's got different vibe, everyone like even people that listen to like chilled house, mellow house, tropical house, that to them is quite a fast-paced vibe like that. It's what makes the hairs on your back of on the back of your neck stand up at the end of the day, and it could be anything.
And what moves you.
And what mood you're in. That's the great thing about music, like that you can just. It is such a journey in so many different ways, and there's so many aspects of DJing. There's so many. You can have journey to energy to technical skill to this to that to. It's just so much. It's just such an open door. It's fantastic, honestly. It's not just listening to it always on that's why I think this craft will never die.
Yeah, no, it won't. And that's what I love. And, you know, obviously I've worked in radio and I've come back to it now. And people are like, oh, radio. And like, it's like, yeah. And actually, when you show people the magic of radio, just listen to something live in this day and age where no one watches TV live. Everything's just like, I'm going to just dial up whatever I want.
Yeah.
But, you know, like back then it was like you had to stay up for this. This person was on at this time, and it was magic that you know that everyone's listening at the same time. And that's what I love about live
Well,
radio.
I love that. We've segued into exactly where I want to be next. So I do want to talk a little bit more about Select.
Yeah.
But very quickly, let's talk about before Select and your radio journey before Select.
So when I was living in Manchester at uni, and then I was DJing, and then I started doing some voluntary work on a community station. And, you know, I was presenting, but, you know, it was, I didn't really know what I was doing, but it was just fun. Got my mates down, we'd all like play some tunes. And then I sort of got to know a bit about like the journalistic side of radio as well. And then I've got a job at the BBC up there, and I was learning how to put programs together, research for programs and all that. And just got to really know about how live and pre-recorded radio works. And then worked down in London doing more like talk radio, sort of news-based stuff. And then I started working at Radio 1. And it was amazing because Mary Ann Hobbs is who I was producing for, and she was finding and blowing things up right from the start. Like dubstep was just emerging. She was, you know, shining a spotlight on people like Scream and like for the first time. Yeah. And, you know, we'd be getting bags of vinyls and CDs sent to us as promo. It wasn't, you know, like it is now. It's all digital. So it was actual physical stuff. It was mad. It was a cool time. But and then I had a big sort of shift in life and career, and I just decided to become a teacher. I've had a few jobs. It's one of these people. I'll always be changing around, but it's funny because then I had children, and it's very hard to kind of do it all, you know.
No, definitely.
And then somehow this is the thing, like the music must have always been there because it just found me again. And I started to.
It never left.
It never left. It was there. It was simmering away, waiting to be fired up again. And I don't know. This is what this whole full circle thing is why I ended up coming to this. I'd not really presented properly before. I'd been in the workings of radio, so I knew how it worked. I understood like the structuring of a show, and obviously music I've digested my whole life. And so just to find myself back in it now. I've been DJing again since like the beginning of last year, just throwing myself fully in it. And just radio is just magic, and I love Select, and I've always listened to Select. Select has been the one station that you know you're in the car and you're like, right, let's put that on. It's always something I want to listen to.
Definitely.
So that's what's been good about it. Other stations, they've got good shows, but it's not consistent. It's like it's good. So that's why I love Select.
100%. I've always been someone that loves to believe in something, and I think as a collective we all really believe in what we're all doing here, which is a great thing. And all the others that are on the station, look, we have been chatting away, and the time is so close to coming up to continuing Saturday Night Selects without us, unfortunately, and we'd love to stay here with you guys because the chat is going very, very well. Let's keep on the base of radio right now. Let's jump back to your Radio 1 days. This next track holds a special place in your heart for that reason. So this next one is quite emotional, and one of the key people that I thought was also really pioneering, Annie Mac. I listened to her religiously during my uni days. I remember she used to do a competition that you could win 12 inches of vinyls, and I used to be like, oh, I'll enter that one. And so she did great things. And then, she wanted to move on when she eventually, I can't remember when it was. I remember I listened to her last show, and obviously it was very emotional for her. And then this is the track I remember she ended with, and it is such an emotional track because it's got this synth loop. It doesn't actually, it just loops and loops, and you're sort of left. It's not going to a big drop or a big, it kind of sinks in, and it just makes you kind of, it's very emotional. Well, before you get too emotional, you make us emotional. Please introduce your last and final track.
So this one is Knights of the Jaguar by Aztec Mystic or DJ Rolando.
Let's get this on. as already mentioned, unfortunately, we're running out of time here as we head into the last minute on our show. Don't go anywhere, of course.
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. 174 Collective taking you through on your Saturday night. Meera, thank you very much for coming in this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed it.